Hey everybody, welcome back to the Studio F How-To Music Experience. This is video 9 of 12 for my song Gimme, and the topic is adding effects. Now if you haven't heard the song Gimme yet, you can check it out right here, see what this is all about. I say 9 of 12. Wow, I'm closing in on it. For each of the last 9 weeks, Friday at 4, every Friday at 4, I've been posting a video concerning a specific topic about my song Gimme. Starts out with inspiration of the song all the way down to adding effects today, and then finally coming up next, mixing. So I keep saying 12 videos, but only 11 are posted on my website. That's because video number 12 is the actual video of the song. Now I have the song Gimme is posted on YouTube now. It's got a still background, and the lyrics kind of float by along with the music. But this is the actual video to the song, filled with the same kind of overly, how should I say, mocking, snarky attitude that you've come to enjoy from the song. So yeah, that actual video to the song is still to come. And it won't be published at the usual Friday at 4, only a little time to get to it, but I'll keep you guys posted. I'll keep the world in the loop because you care. Okay, the topic, adding effects. Effect equals affect. Affect defined to touch the emotions of someone and communicate with them emotionally. So you want people to feel. Well, of course you do. That's the whole dynamic of music. We're dealing in the currency of emotions. For the purpose of this video, I'll divide the topic of effects into 2 categories. 1, effects on individual tracks and instruments. 2, the entire song, and how the concept of effects plays into the sound signature of the entire song. So first, the entire song effect. I like to think of the song as a place. The place the song takes you. The place you go to experience the song and immerse yourself into the soul of the music created. So your goal as the artist is to define that place, that space. Define that space to better impact your music, to better take your listener there. Here's an abstract. Let's say sound is a sphere. Listening to sound is a sphere. You can control the sound source left and right with panning, back and forth with reverb and delay, and you can control the intensity of sound with your arrangement and the density of your instruments. So that's kind of an interesting thought experiment. All of these characteristics of sound work together. It's going to create the place that people go and provide them a fuller experience by listening to your music. Call it the songscape. Okay, to define it a little differently, let's say it's the place you were when you wrote the song, either physically or emotionally. Let's say you were in the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom. There you go. Or maybe a car racing down the mountainside. Pull over, pull over, pull over. Or maybe a canyon. Nice view. Or maybe outside in a field, tromping through the flowers. Or maybe it's not so obvious as a physical place. Maybe it's an emotional or a mind place, an imaginary place. Maybe it's a mellow place. Or it could be something simple like you want to make them feel clobbered. Or maybe confused is the emotion you're after. So I like to think of the overall effects of a song as the atmosphere, the aura, something that most people will never really consciously hear, but they certainly will feel it. And that's, I think, the integral part of the song, which gives it its emotional impact. And it's a true definer of the song. It's that real ephemeral effect, that special something that you can't really define, but that you just feel. And I think the feel really is at the heart of the emotion, at the heart of the thing you're trying to convey with your song. So whatever feelings or emotions you're trying to convey with your song, there certainly is a place, a space, an aura, an environment that must be considered as part of the creative process. Another abstract way to look at that is like, let's say the fine wax job on a car, or say the fine master's touch tanning on a piece of leather. Still the same thing as it was when it started out, but after the master's touch, it takes on a finished look that really gives it its sheen, its shininess, its final glow. That works for the song too. Maybe it's a dark place or a private place. All of these places are ripe for you to use as inspiration to inject more emotional impact into your music. So the effects are there to provide the emotional affect that you're after. Just another way to make your music more authentic, more accessible, more enjoyable, more real, more you. Okay, nice stuff, Dale. Lots of fizzy words, everyone's all whipped up. But how do you make it work? How do you translate all this abstract stuff into something you can use? Well, the best way is in keeping with my Studio F approach, which is how I did it with my song Gimme. So here are some examples. Don't worry, I'll blab on it more. Okay, so in the song Gimme, there are 4 places that we can kind of look at and kind of apply or kind of understand and how these concepts are actually put to use. First, the normal lead voice. Pretty straightforward, in your face, pretty good amount of compression, teeny bit of reverb, hardly noticeable, little bit of delay, but just there so it's not perfectly flat, but certainly in your face close, intentionally so. So here's the first lead voice from the first verse, first with the music and then without.
Get out! Nah, skip it. Give me some crap from China to sell. And ship it. Nah, skip it. Give me some crap from China to sell and ship it.
Then, far away guy with got so much money and you wasn't me coming. So those are the 2 voices that are kind of like the second place, which is of course far away, and I panned it back and forth to kind of give it a woo kind of a sound. So here's far away guy with the music, followed by far away guy without the music, so you can really tell the difference. I got so much money. I got so much money. Lost in the cotton. Lost in the cotton. And then bullhorn guy. First, really flimsy, thin EQ to give that kind of a nasally bullhorny sound, and then a really obvious slapback, real tight, not so tight that you can't hear the space in between, just enough so you can hear it's a slapback, and the slapback itself is really close to the volume of the original, giving that alley sort of feel, you know? He's out in the alley talking to the 99% to incite.
Now hear this. Put the 1% on notice. We're taking the world back. Forget about your POTUS. Well, all we can stand. Can't stand no more. We're just worried about the next inevitable.
And finally, psst guy. Here's psst guy with the music, then without the music.
Psst, hey. Do me a little favor here. Just back me up with the lies for now. I'll be a payoff for you real soon. Don't cross me. You've heard of the double cross, right? By the way, nice family you have there. Be ashamed if something happened to them. Psst, hey. Do me a little favor here. Just back me up with the lies for now. There'll be a payoff for you real soon. Don't cross me. You've heard of the double cross, right? By the way, nice family you have there. It'd be a shame if something happened to them.
So those are the 4 places that were defined with the effects, you know, slapback, delay, reverb, EQ, panning, etc. Now one thing here, I'm dealing with the abstract concepts of all these effects. As far as the actual settings and stuff, I'll touch on those in a bit. You'll see what I have going. And of course, you have to experiment with that on your own gear. So I'll leave all that fun up to you. And finally, remember, all of these effects, both guitar and vocal effects, were baked into the tracks. In other words, I didn't like record them dry and add the effects later. I went right to tape, right to disc, with the effect and the exact sound that you're hearing in the song. I discuss that a little more later on, so sit tight. It's about time, it's about space. Einstein was right again. Let's mic and amp, for example. And you put the mic right in front of the amp, you get one sound. You move it 2 or 3 feet away, you get a total different sound. Now that's natural delay. Now, if we wanted to recreate that with an artificial gadget, the setting that you adjust would be a time setting. So now time equals distance equals sound equals space. Adjusting all those different parameters is the same thing. Wow, go Al. Think of every place you've had a conversation. What was the ambient environment? Elevator, library, men's room, restaurant, cafeteria, concert hall, bathroom, foyer. Each of these environments has an audio signature, and as artists, we are aware of such things, and we use those to our advantage when perfecting our art. Our art, perfecting. So, space and time. These are the elements of music. Space in terms of the distance of the sound, and time in terms of translating that into the format of music. Music, which is nothing more than the unfolding of time on an audio canvas. And again, and again, and again. The best part about all of this is there is no wrong and there is no right. It's all up to the artist to use as he or she sees fit. It's just another way to further define your creative output. Another way of kickstarting the creative engine. Another method to keep things moving along. Who wants stale music? Move it along, move it along, move it along. All to better convey the feeling, the emotional impact of your song or your vocal track to more faithfully connect with your people. First get some people, then connect with them. With that, on to the second part of this video, which is effects on individual tracks. Okay, for this section of the video, I'm going to discuss the more traditional understanding of effects, that being adding effects to individual guitar tracks or individual vocal tracks. I think it's important to really keep that concept of effect equals affect, correct pronunciation,
Effect.
top of mind, kind of as a rule of thumb as you're working through the process, and kind of ask yourself, is this going to give me the effect I want? Is this effect going to give me the affect I want? Correct pronunciation,
Effect.
on my listeners. So that's a good little litmus test to perform every now and then as you're doing your thing. And again, I won't talk too much about the parameters of the effects themselves, because that's all the fun, man. I don't want to take that fun away from you. I just get into the conceptual use of them. I think the best place to start creating your place, your atmosphere, your aura, your soundmosphere is with the rhythm tracks. Because basically they have such a quick attack and there's a lot of space in between, and you can really hear all the nuances of the reverb and the delay and the effects you're creating. So I used a MIDI sound module by Korg for my drum track, and the effects built into that created my sound place. So yeah, lots of talk leading up to this point, talking about all kinds of junk, but we're just here at adding reverb to a drum track. I mean, all the talkity talk, boopity boop, and we're just adding reverb. Say this, I do that. The perils of overlooking a creative avenue. Inspiration is jolted in the oddest of ways sometimes. Setting the gadget's the easy part. Just go with it, what you want to hear. So here's the drum track with some percussion, the end part of the song, just grooving along. You can hear the aura of the place, the soundscape, the soundmosphere a little clearer than you can on the actual track. So it's just reverb on a drum track. But being tuned into, being aware of, to feel the emotional impact of the effects you're laying on your tracks. To have some yardstick to go by when you're feeling around in the creative darkness. So that's the kind of ideas and notions I'd hope to pass along in this video. So have I done it so far? You tell me. Okay, of all the stuff I passed along, all the advice and ideas and concepts, this section is likely the most unconventional in that it's based on a personal tastes. So take all of this with a grain of salt as it applies to whatever you're doing. Give it a shot. I think it has its merits, and you may too. What I'm talking about is baking in your effects on the tracks. I used Pro Tools for Gimme, and it, as well as all other DAW, digital audio workstation software, has so many effects, tons of effects and gadgets and delays. You could go nuts delving into the details, and I have, and I've put a lot of time into that. And for me, For me, I don't know, I didn't really get out what I put in. A lot of time. I mean, and then if you think you're, saving time by recording your tracks dry and then coming back later and fixing them in the mix, man, you're in for a real awakening. I think anyway. That's my opinion again. Mine. So what do? Bam. I go right down the disc with the effects, with the reverb, with the distortion levels, with the delay, with the everything. Right on, baby. I jack up the intensity 15 to 20%. I've learned that that's the amount that kind of gets lost in the mix anyway, and I don't look back. So all of the guitar sounds and all of the vocal tracks on the song Gimme were recorded, effects baked in. Yeah, I'm stuck with them. I'm happily stuck with them. So what do I use? I have this vintage rack-mounted guitar gadget that has tons of effects built in, and then 60 presets. Each one of those presets has every possible effect, from like a stack cabinet to a quad digital vocal delay, plate reverb, to it's endless. Gates, and it's just crazy. You can save all that. It's just the best thing I ever had, and I use it on everything. All the tracks in Gimme. If you want to hear all those effects on the guitar tracks specifically, go to video 5, Guitar Tracks. But wait! Doesn't that mean you're stuck with the sounds? Yes, but I found that to be a much better way to get the final result I want, but that's just me. Again, just me. You have to assume you know what you want first, of course. I've done it both ways, and I'm much happier with my way. The fix it in the mix way, boy, what a time killer. And so many little cracks for things to fall through. Now, my new way makes up for that. It's very rare. I can't even think of a time where I listen to a track now that I have the baked-in approach as my standard go-to. I can't remember listening to something and saying, gee, I wish I woulda or coulda or doulda or whatever. Baked in. That's my way to go. One more thing. When you're recording all your tracks, let's say you got some hiss on this or that or whatever, record it hotter on the high end. Then you go back, EQ out that high end down to where you want it, and you'll lose some of that hiss as well, employing a little bit of the Dolby technique. Yep. So I guess that about wraps it up for video 9, adding effects. Check back next Friday at 4, as usual, for video 10, which is mixing. See how I tally all this junk up and whip it into a final, impactful BAM song. Yep. Studio F signing out. See you next Friday at 4. Next Friday at